Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of PKM Weekly. So let's see what's been in store for us from the past week. First up, Obsidian. They've released version 1.11.0 and 1.11.1, and that includes a lot of updates to the desktop app and the mobile app. And that includes added icons to the setting, markdown links are now supported in texts, daily notes, that can be the format of the date format can be changed and predefined. File renaming, so if you use illegal characters, it will result in a warning. When you import files with illegal characters, it will strip them. Lock screen widgets, home screen widgets, and new widgets on Android. And if you want to see the full changelog, you can go here and see the various different updates that have been implemented. And even better, if you want to see what the widgets are like, you can check out this video from the Obsidian Reddit and have a look through of what it shows. You can see here, adds it to the quick text widgets, and then you can play around with it. So have a look through that if you want. Next up was a built-in AI employee that actually works for me. So this is using Opus 4.5 plus Obsidian. So in the video, Riley, he talks us through his new AI agent command center, and he shows us how powerful Claude Opus 4.5 is as a general purpose agent integrated with Obsidian. So in the video, you can learn how to set up a full workspace where Claude Code organizes and maintains your tasks, and how you can follow these steps and delegate numerous tasks, making Claude Code your perfect employee. So definitely worthwhile checking this 20 or so minute video out as he talks us through how to set it up, how to do it, and the various different benefits of it. So well worthwhile checking that out. Last up for Obsidian was an interesting couple of Reddit posts. So how do you use Obsidian for work? So just curious of how, if you use Obsidian for your work projects, work tasks, how you do it. And as usual, various different responses from the users to the OP's question. So this one was a good one. It goes through into a lot of detail of how they've set it all up. And the other one was Life Tracker, which is a new Obsidian plugin. So you can see and track your life and habits through a new Obsidian plugin. So well worthwhile checking out if you are interested. That was it for Obsidian. So Capacities, they've now got a contextualized task management that's been implemented within Capacities. And the way they're selling it is everyone needs a system to help them getting things done. Having a system that embeds directly into the context of your work without needing to for any setup is unique. And Capacities offers exactly that. So if you want to check it out, how it works, see this video from Beth, 10 or so minutes, where she talks us through how to set up your tasks, getting them done, priorities, statuses, scheduling and calendar, and having all of the context within the same app. So a great addition from the Capacities team. It has been one that has been requested for a long period of time. And in addition to the above, they've implemented two new themes, graph view customizations, resizable media embeds, and highlight improvements. And as usual with the Capacities team, check out the What's New page where you can go into detail and see various different things. So this is all about the tasks. And then the two new themes are somewhere here. So they've added light, dimmed, and dark. So you can check them out in the settings, graph view customization, and various things that they have implemented. Show simplified graph, exclude object types. So you can basically play around with your graph that you have, as well as resize media embeds. So some great updates from the Capacities team on that one. Just a couple of days ago, they've introduced a couple of more things as well. Better natural language processing, option to move to today's calendar view, and various different fixes and bug resolving that made things not great. So well done to the Capacities team. And one thing to look forward to is that the devs have confirmed that after the holidays, we will share another What's Next article where they will highlight what they are planning to work on during 2026 and what they will be launching. So definitely worthwhile looking into that one just to see what's planned for Capacities. Tana, they've been doing an advent calendar and daily releases, and there's been quite a few releases so far. In the 14 or so days of December, and they've released Nano Banana, updated color schemes, fully collapsible sidebar, and various different other things that you can see here. These are all the things that have been released in Tana in the past couple of weeks. So some great stuff from the Tana team. They've also got a little bit of request from all of the users out there. So can Tana be the product hunt launch of the year? So they've already won product of the day, product of the week, product of the month, and now they're wanting a last little push to also win product of the year. And if you want, and if you can, click on the link here and just give them a little bit of an upvote just to push them and hopefully allow them to win product of the year. No idea how you see the leaderboard in Product Hunt, but from my understanding, they're not too far behind being number one. So a little bit of a push from everyone out there. I'm sure the team would be greatly appreciative of you. And Tana, they've got an annual review session planned for Wednesday, it's in a few days' time. So come and join the team. Theo, Mark, Matt, Braggy, along with Nick, Simon and Ev. And they're going to explore annual reviews in Tana. So they'll demo and build workflows that help you reflect on the year that has just passed. So definitely worthwhile checking out. Even if you don't use Tana, it's definitely worthwhile because it might help you get some insight and some golden nuggets of what you can do within the app that you do use. So well done to the Tana community and the Tana team for doing that. Logseq, they've just recently announced that they are now working on the Android app. And that is coming soon, so it's going to introduce some key changes, Android-specific native UI, top bar, bottom, sheet, editor, toolbar, etc. Implements native navigation and adds Android theme synchronization with dark and light mode. And you can see this image from Tiensen, because there was a little bit of a complaint of why it was only the iOS app that was being worked on. But Tiensen has confirmed that they are working on the Android app as well. So definitely worthwhile keeping a look on that one. I think, though, it will be only DB, Logseq DB specific. So you will need to change to the Logseq database version to make full use of the app. And then OP asked, coming back to Logseq, has anything changed? So they used to use Logseq. It was the first app that truly helped them organize their thinking. And since then, they've used Notion, ClickUp, Capacities, and a bunch of other apps, and they fell in love with Logseq, but it was getting very slow on their Mac M1, I think, if I remember right, and they're just basically asking if there is anything new or if anything has changed. And the answer is yes, a lot has changed. Don't know when you left, but certainly a lot of things have changed, and it's definitely worthwhile checking the app out again. Craft, they've got a little bit of a surprise for us. So our last beta for this year, and they claim it's going to be an exciting one. And it's basically Craft agents, where docs become agents. So write instructions in a document and turn it into a working assistant with no code required. So it is going to be a beta testing. So if you want to get in already this weekend or the next few days, definitely reply here on this tweet by Victor. And he will let you in, or he will allow you to get priority access to this cool thing that Craft are implementing. And there has been another few things of interest in Craft in the past week or so. So if you're unsure where to start, check out this video playlist. I think I did post this a couple of weeks ago, but it's definitely worthwhile having a look through because it does go through all of the basics, how to get started from nothing to becoming very efficient in Craft. And then they've got 3.3.3 update with 60% off, so definitely worthwhile having a look at that. And they do say updated Craft Assistance, full space API, and MCP capabilities. And then on the flip side, though, there was one post in Reddit where the OP is asking, where has Craft gone? So I've been using Craft for a number of years, currently torn where Craft was originally a focused solution for note-taking, easy to jump into and out of, and I feel that it's getting heavy. Lost in the sea of menus on the iPad, struggling with linear versus calendar, view for daily notes, and overwhelmed by the push to AI things. And they're basically asking what to do now. So quite a few responses. And in fact, the first response is, every time I open Craft, I have no idea what to do with it. So definitely worthwhile checking that out, and hopefully the Craft team can get themselves or to provide a little bit of a steer, but I think Craft is going in the right direction, and I think it's a great app to use. Workflowy, these guys have had a number of updates as well. So they've introduced numbered lists, themes, calendar, board UI improvements, API support, and general quality of life improvements across the board. And there is a lot more detail in the Workflowy page. So you can see numbered lists, so you now can finally have numbered lists, which the number changes depending on the order. Themes, they've added a couple of new themes. Calendar, they've polished it. Calendar picker, toggle found dates, friendly date names, etc., board UI improvements, API, and other quality of life improvements. So some great stuff from the Workflowy teams over the past couple of weeks or so. So well worthwhile checking that one out if you are interested in outlining and don't really want to use the likes of Rome, Logseq, or Tana. So definitely worthwhile checking Workflowy out as well. Heptabase, they have now released the MCP as an official public beta. So what you can do is you can save to Heptabase and you can salt to your knowledge base. So basically just ask any questions as you would in ChatGPT to find whiteboards, cards, or anything else related to a topic that you're interested in. And if you're an AI developer, you can use the MCP to build advanced workflow automations. So definitely worthwhile checking that one out. And if you want to see how to use it, check out this 30-second video or so. But quite simple, just put whatever prompt it is that you have in the MCP window. That will think it through and it will link to your graph or to your knowledge base or whatever Heptabase call it, and it will find the results that you are looking for. So some great stuff from Heptabase on that one. Noteey, they've released version 1.42.0, some big and beautiful new features. Cards can now be published to the web, Noteey tag tutorial, database grid view, property displays, and various different other things. Easiest way, just to check out this quick video from the Noteey team of what these updates mean and how you can make the full use of them. Reader, not one that I usually publish about, but it is very good in terms of the latest releases that they've implemented, and that includes offline version 2, so your library content now downloads for offline reading, much faster and much more reliable, with clearer controls and dedicated offline document screen. So if you are one of these people that like going off the line now and again, just like we all do, definitely worthwhile checking this one out from the Readwise team. I think it's a great update because I always love having my stuff offline. And there has been another number of updates. So Reader for tablets, iPad, Ghost Reader version 3 that's been released, podcast transcripts, Zapier integration, ChatGPT Copilot, that's through Readwise, and themed connections through Readwise again. So if you want to see the full details of what all of these updates mean, check out this post by Tristan where he goes through all of the details of all of the things that have been released in terms of what you can do with the Reader for tablets and iPad, the 2-column view, sticky sidebars, etc., etc. So a great post and well worthwhile checking out so you can get the full update of what's been released in Readwise Reader over the past week or so. And if you want to keep an eye on the changelog, also check out this post here, or this link, where you can see in a bit more succinct fashion of what they've released of late. So one that's definitely worthwhile checking out and having a look into. And last but not least is Thymer. So they've brought animation interactions throughout the app so that progress feels visible. So you can see it through here in the Kanban board, so you can see the various different changes that are going on and drag and drop into various different columns and whatnot. So looking forward to testing that one out. And also they've confirmed that the above is not the actual roadmap. There is only one ticket left until alpha is finally released. So hopefully 2025 might be the year for Thymer. There's only one thing left, so hopefully Wim can actually press the release button at some point soon. So that was it for this week. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next week. Bye.